Not that they need to be buoyed. They always look pretty pumped. But those polls, good news for the Sanders campaign today.
That's exactly right, Nicole. And it's very clear that this campaign is putting a premium on these Super Tuesday states. You know this. There are different levels of investment you can make as a campaign. You can invest your money, for example, and the campaign did this with that $5.5 million ad buy that they announced last week that included many of these Super Tuesday states. And then there's the candidate's time, and that's what we're seeing today. Senator Sanders had 2 events in North Carolina. Right now, he's still speaking on stage here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And then later today, he'll be going to Texas in the Dallas area for a big rally there. His messaging on the campaign trail is also getting a little bit sharper. It was in Durham where we heard him when talking to his supporters. He said that he's taking on opponents who are billionaires and trying to buy elections, and he's also taking on opponents who are funded by many billionaires. That's a not so subtle jab at both Mayor Mike Bloomberg and Mayor Pete Buttigieg. So this campaign is making a clear sign to the rest of the field saying, hey, we're going to be competing in these Super Tuesday stakes because we find them important. Nicole?
Shaq Brewster with us on the trail with Bernie Sanders. Thank you, my friend. Let's bring into our conversation Jason Johnson, politics. I couldn't even want to read your name. I was dying to ask you a 100-question politics editor for The Root and national editor for The Cook Political Report, Amy Walter. I'm also bursting with questions for you. So Sanders has the momentum, seems to have gotten more momentum out of New Hampshire than Mayor Pete got out of that sort of botched result in Iowa. But you still hear it on the street, in the playground, in the dog park, at Zabar's, every place you go, this angst about him. What is that? And how does that sort of resolve itself?
It resolves itself as we go through the rest of the primary. I hear the angst, too, when I talk to my former students in Ohio, when I talk to people in Texas. Bernie Sanders is something completely new. He is something that we have not seen in American politics in a long time. And when something new is tried, people get nervous. They don't know if it's going to work. They don't know if it's going to be effective. The high-level political argument that I tend to hear from people is they fear Bernie Sanders turns more blue states purple than red states purple. That's what I hear from my consultant friends. What I hear from regular people is, I don't know if his plans are actually going to move people. I don't know if his plans are actually effective. And when Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said earlier this week, well, hey, look, even Medicare for all is going to take a bit longer. That's the first time you've heard anybody on the Sanders team talk about, well, yeah, we will have to deal with the Senate. And that's the kind of question he's going to have to answer to make people who are nervous on the ground think that he might be a real option.
So I have a window into sort of the less elegant sort of high-low. Sort of the highly informed, Twitter universe is his people are brutal, that take no prisoners, very Trump-like. And that's what's being said about his supporters, in a sense that Bernie doesn't want to rein that in the same way that Trump doesn't rein his people in. The more sort of people functioning in the real world without, the blue swish on their phones, not Twitter players, they're gravitating toward other people because they simply don't think that someone who is branded a democratic socialist could ever beat Donald Trump, who has the stock market unleashed and roaring.
That's right. So this is what I hear mostly from voters is, you know what? It's not that they dislike Sanders. They just don't think he can win. And the issue is electability. It is all that Democrats are concerned about. Now, there is a core of Bernie Sanders supporters who are going to stick with him no matter what. And we've seen what that base is. It's 26% of the popular vote. But expanding that base, how does he do it? In one way, he does it because, as we know, the not Bernie Sanders candidate hasn't been determined, and they are splitting the vote a lot of different ways. But you know what else determines a winner? Someone who starts winning. And winning and winning. And people get on a bandwagon. At some point, if he keeps racking up wins, if he wins in Nevada, if he comes really close in South Carolina, he wins in some of these Super Tuesday states, you're going to see a lot of Democratic voters go, well, OK, I guess this is our guy, and trying to make some sense of it. He's not unpopular among Democrats.
Correct.
Right? It's not like he's going in upside down.
And he has no, he is, I think, the candidate who his supporters are very enthusiastic about him.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.